Hello and a warm welcome to all of you. My name is Philipp Osterwolder and I am the CEO and co-founder of LIMS. I'm very thrilled to could join us for today's webinar, 10 things to know about LIMS. Whatever lab team needs to take in consideration. Over the next hour, I will walk you through the essentials of laboratory information and management systems, often just called LIMS. And I will show you the key points that will help you to make informed decisions in modern laboratory environments. I want to officially welcome you to our session. Whether you are new to the concept of LIMS or have some background knowledge, I promise you will walk away with practical insights you can apply directly to your lab operations. We are aiming for an interactive session, so feel free to take notes, and if we have time at the end, we will cover any outstanding questions. A few logistics before we get started. So this webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to revisit the content later. Please type any questions you have into the chat box. If time is short, I will follow up with you directly by mail. You can request the slides after we finish, simply reaching out to us at hello@onelims.com or visit our website at www.onelims.com. I hope that clarifies all the basics, so let's move on to the content. Let me briefly introduce myself. I'm the CEO and co-founder of LIMS, and my background includes nearly 2 decades in quality management, R&D, quality control, quality assurance, and process optimization across food, beverage, biomedical, and pharmaceutical industries. I have a strong affinity for Lean Six Sigma principles, which I channel into helping lab teams streamlining their workflows, eliminating paper-based processes, and ensure compliance. My goal is to show you how LIMS can transform the way your overall lab operates. The goals of this webinar. By the end of our time together, I want you to understand exactly what a LIMS is and why it matters to modern labs. Explore the key LIMS modules and how they can streamline data management. See how a robust LIMS solution enhances compliance and increase efficiency in the lab. Be equipped to select and implement the right LIMS for your specific needs. These goals should give you a clear path forward when you're considering a LIMS strategy in your organization. Today's session is structured into 5 major points, where we cover overall the 10 things. Number 1, LIMS in a nutshell. We will define what LIMS is in simple terms. Security, compliance, and integrations, crucial considerations in any LIMS project. Costs and implementation strategies, a look at budget, return on investment, and rollout approaches. LIMS versus other laboratory software. How LIMS compares to tools like ELN or SDMS plus industry-specific insights. Number 5, selecting the right LIMS. Practical steps to ensure your chosen LIMS aligns with your lab's workflows. Let's start with the basics. What is a LIMS really? A laboratory information management system is a centralized platform designed to handle large volumes of lab data. Automated routine tasks and track samples from entry to disposal. Put simply, it is the digital backbone that helps you coordinating nearly everything happened in your lab. By providing real-time access to data and standardizing workflows, a LIMS can significantly reduce manual processes and lower error rates. Modern labs generate ever-grown amounts of data. Without a centralized system, it's easy for things to slip through the cracks. A LIMS helps manage the data volume efficiently, minimize transcription errors, enhancing compliance, and boosting productivity. It is a tool that not only makes day-to-day tasks smoother, but also provides strategic insights for continuous improvement and better decision-making. When choosing a LIMS, you have options. Number one is the on-premise solution, which requires your lab to house servers and manage hardware in-house. This means you have total control over your data, including security and update cycles. On the flip side, there is a higher upfront cost for hardware and IT stuff. And it can be limiting if you need remote access or if your lab is geographically dispersed. However, for some organizations with stringent data policies, on-premise is the perfect fit. Alternatively, a cloud or a SaaS-based LIMS removes the need of hosting servers in your facility. This approach shifts to a subscription model, typically has a lower initial investment and benefits from automatic updates. Cloud-based solutions are simplified collaboration. Your team can access real-time data from any location. It's a great choice if you have multiple labs or want to scale without major hardware investments. For labs that want a blend of both worlds, hybrid solution can be the ideal. You keep some data on-premise, maybe your most sensitive information, and offload certain functionalities to be cloud for broader accessibility. If this is more complex setup initially, but it gives you the flexibility to manage security while still capitalizing on the scalability of the cloud. How do you decide which model, on-premise, cloud, or hybrid, is right for you? Start by evaluating your IT resources, your budget, operational versus capital expenditures, and your data compliance requirements. Also consider your implementation time and your resources. If you need to get up and running quickly, the cloud or the hybrid approach may be the faster to deploy. Always keep the future scalability in mind. So let's talk about the core functionalities in LIMS. First up is the sample management. A good LIMS tracks each sample at every stage, from login and barcoding to the final retrieval. This full chain of custody ensures you always know where samples are, who handled them, and what tests were done. It's a really game changer for labs still juggling spreadsheets or paper logs. Another key aspect is the workflow standardization. Rather than relying on people to remember each step of a process, the LIMS enforces your standard operating procedures. This means tasks are automated or assigned with digital reminders. Everyone follows the same procedures, which reduces variation and helps achieving more consistent and traceable results. Labs collect data from multiple instruments and sometimes from manual entries. A LIMS ensures data consistency by enforcing validation rules. It also creates a centralized repository, so all your data is in one place, easily and searchable and auditable. No more worrying about missing results or inconsistent naming. Data is organized, version controlled, and ready for analysis whenever you need it. Generating reports such as certificate of analysis or simply test reports are compliance documents, can be automatic within the LIMS. Built-in templates and real-time data makes it simple to produce professional, regulatory compliant reports. Additionally, each data point has a clear audit trail, showing who made changes and when, supporting standards like 21 CFR Part 11. A robust LIMS also helps with quality control and quality assurance. It manages specifications, triggers out-of-spec investigations, lets you perform trend analysis to spot issues early. You can also track instrument calibration schedules and ensure all relevant staff certifications are up to date. All these elements are vital for labs that prioritize high-quality results and our regulated industry. They are absolutely non-negotiable. Now we have covered the basics of a LIMS functionality. Up next, I will delve into security, compliance, and integrations, because these are critical factors in any LIMS project, especially when dealing with sensitive or high-stake data. Let's jump in. Different industries have different frameworks. FDA 21 CFR Part 11 for pharmaceuticals, ISO 20000 or 22000 for food, HIPAA for clinical labs. The LIMS you choose must align with your specific regulatory environment. Ask your vendor about their track record in your industry, whether they have built-in features like electronic signatures that match your compliance requirements. On-premise can offer a tangible sense of control with physical service and direct oversight, but it's also rely heavily on your internal IT security expertise. Cloud-based solutions typically come with advanced security maintenance by the provider. Things like encrypted at rest, automated patching, or certifications such as ISO 27001. The best route depends on how robust your internal infrastructure is and your regulatory constraints. Quality data must be LCOA plus attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, and accurate, and more. A good LIMS enforces these principles by offering comprehensive audit trails, capturing every user action, timestamps, and any changes made. This builds a strong foundation for data integrity and ensures your lab remains inspection ready at all times. Controlling who has access to what is a non-negotiable. In a LIMS, you can set role-based permissions so users only see or edit data relevant to their job function. You can implement multi-factor authentication or single sign-on solution for an extra layer of security. Regularly review these permissions to keep your system tight and track user activities with log monitoring. Different industries have different frameworks. Also, for access control and user management and integration with existing systems. One major advantage of LIMS is the ability to connect directly with lab instruments. Data flows automatically, which drastically reduce the risk of human error. Whether you use an HPLC or GC or something more specialized, make sure you choose a LIMS supports instruments interfacing. This speeds up your workflows and ensures data is captured accurately at every time and every run. Beyond instruments, a LIMS often ties into high-level systems like ERP or QMS platforms. This alignment ensures that data from the lab informs broad business operations, whether it is inventory control, billing, or custom relationship management. A well-integrated LIMS not only improves lab efficiency, but also benefits the entire organizational ecosystem. Commonly, LIMS platforms integrate through APIs, web services, or ETL pipelines. You may also see middleware solutions or direct database connections. The right approach depends on your lab's complexity. If your environment is modern and flexible, an API-driven integration might be the easiest. For older systems, you might need specialized adapters or a phase integration plan. Integration projects can be tricky because you might have a legacy system with unique data formats and limited connectivity. The solution often involves custom adapters or using a middleware layer. Another common challenge is the maintaining integrations after system upgrades. Through so, testing and version management are essential here. Finally, keep an eye on performance. Some connections can become bottlenecks if you're not optimized. We have covered the why of LIMS, security and integration. Now let's discuss cost structures and implementation strategies, because even the best solution fails without a realistic budget and an effective rollout plan. When evaluating a LIMS, you will notice two main cost models. On-premise as a higher upfront investment for hardware and service, while cloud operates on a subscription based. Both models come with additional costs such as an implementation service, training, and integration. Evaluate return on investment by looking at labor savings, error reduction, and faster test turnaround. It often pays for itself in a matter of months. Beyond licensing fees, do not forget about the human factor. Please. There is a user training, data migration from legacy systems, and possible system validation if you are in a regulated space. Factor in the ongoing costs or support and maintenance. Implementation can also cause downtime if not planned carefully, so a solid project time is crucial. Here is a simple example of a food manufacturer that uses to spend 20 hours a week on manual data entry. And now, after the LIMS implementation, just dropped to 2 hours a week after implementing. They not only save on labor costs, but also reduce error corrections and free up staff for higher value tasks. Taken together, those gains can offset the initial costs within the first year. A compelling return on investment scenario if your lab heavily relies on manual processes. So the annual benefits are roughly 170,000, implementation costs around 150,000. So the return on investment will be reached within the first year after roughly 11 months. Some labs roll out their LIMS in phases, one module or department at a time, to lower risks and let users adapt gradually. Others do a complete rollout all at once, which can deliver results faster, but requires robust change management. The best approach for you depends on your lab size, complexity, and risk tolerance. A typical LIMS implementation includes the requirements analysis, then the requirements analysis was the first point we get. Yes, then the system selection, which we have as chosen the LIMS that meets those requirements. Third point is the configuration and the customization, tailored the software to your lab's processes or adapt the processes to the LIMS software. Data migration, transfer legacy data carefully to avoid errors. Number 5 is integration, connect with instruments and other enterprise systems. Validation and testing, confirm everything works as intended. Number 7 is training and go live, ensure your team is ready. And number 8 is the post-implementation support that gathers feedback and refinement for continuous improvement cycles and new releases. What does that lead to? Getting people on board is often the hardest part. Communicate benefits early and involve key stakeholders from day one. Offer training that is role-specific and design system champions. who can advocate for the LIMS, collect user feedback consistently, and celebrate milestones. Positive reinforcement helps make the transition smoother and increase the commitment of each responsible and included person. Typically, pitfalls includes inadequate requirements gathering, scope creeps, and insufficient testing. Another big one is lack of execution sponsorship without clear leadership support. The project can stall. Make sure you plan realistic timelines, involve the vendor early on, and keep communication channels open across all involved teams. Next, we compare LIMS to other lab software such as ELNs, SDMS, and LESS. Understanding these differences helps you see what LIMS fits in the bigger picture and ensures you make the right choice for your needs. An electronic laboratory notebook, ELN, is typically unstructured, focused on scientific documentation and collaboration. In contrast, a LIMS is more structured, emphasizing sample tracking and workflow automation. Many labs actually use both, a LIMS for operational data management and an ELN for research notes and hypothesis tracking. A scientific data management system, short SDMS, is designed to archive raw data from instruments, while an LES, a laboratory execution system, enforces SOPs with guided steps. A LIMS can overlap with these, but it primarily excels at orchestrating workflows, centralizing operational data, and ensuring compliance. Some integrated platforms combine LIMS, ELN, and SDMS capabilities into a single solution. Many vendors now offer integrated solutions merging LIMS, ELN, and SDMS functionalities. This can be highly efficient because it removes data silos and creates seamless user experience. However, you need to check if each module meets your specification requirements. Sometimes a single integrated suite might not offer the depth of the specialized system. If you work in pharma or biotech, you already know the regulatory requirements are stringent. A LIMS in these settings must address FDA 21 CFR Part 11, GXP, like GMP and GLP, and have robust audit trails. It should also handle batch records, stability tests, and be validated according to these regulations, ensuring quality and safety. Food and beverage labs care about ISO 22000, HACCP, and in some cases, the FSMA. You might need to generate certificate of analysis for each batch and maintain full traceability from raw materials to finished products. A LIMS that automates these tasks helps you stay compliant, respond quickly to audits, and protect consumer safety. Environmental testing often deals with EPA regulations and strict chain of custody protocols. Labs may collect samples in remote locations, so a LIMS that supports mobile devices or GIS integrations can be critical. Storing, trending, and alerting on data in real time can help you act faster to address potential environmental risks. Clinical labs handle patient privacy under HIPAA or GDPR. Integration with hospital information systems is often required, as well as paid turnaround time or rapid turnaround times for test results. In this environment, a LIMS must manage patient ID, cross-referencing, automate critical value alerts, and often connect with billing or insurance platforms. Now we will move into the final portion, how to actually choose the right LIMS for your lab. I will also share a glimpse of future trends that might shape the LIMS landscape in the coming years. Artificial intelligence can deliver predictive analytics, flagging anomalies in test results before they become critical issues. Machine learning can optimize scheduling and resource allocation, learning from historical data to drive continuous improvement. As labs grow more automated, these capabilities helps you stay proactive rather than reactive. Mobile apps for LIMS allow field technicians to enter data on the go. IoT-connected instruments can push real-time updates and auto-trigger service alerts if there are detected performance anomalies. You can get a lab environment that is always on, always connected, and deliver actionable insights 24/7. Beyond AI and IoT, you will see blockchain for unalterable data trials, automated reality for training, and microservices that let you customize solutions piece by piece. These innovations help labs tackle new challenges, like handling more data from advanced instruments without overhauling the entire system. Selecting the right LIMS for your laboratory number 10. Start with a thorough needs assessment. Map out your current workflows, identify the biggest pain points, and talk to each stakeholder group. Technicians, quality managers, IT staff. To gather requirements. This helps to spot potential roadblocks early and ensure do not over or understood the functionality you truly need. So this includes also to document the current laboratory workflow and all of the pain points, then categorize and prioritize them, identify key stakeholders and gather their requirements, prioritize features based on your business impact, define must-haves versus nice-to-have, consider future growth and scalability, assess technical environments and integration requirements, determine regulatory and compliance requirements, establish budget constraints and return on investment expectations. Compile a short list of vendors who meet your core requirements. Ask them for demonstration focusing on your use case. Investigate their experience in your industry, or do not forget to speak with reference clients. You also want clarity on their roadmap, implementation methodology, or support. Investigate their experience in your industry, or do not forget to speak with reference clients. You also want clarity on their roadmap, implementation methodology, and support model. Consider the total cost of ownership, not only just the purchasing price, but also training, integration, and any customization. If you want to have more information about that, just scan the QR code to get access and register to our next webinar with Gerrit Ipskamps from Business Consulting Manufacturing Industry Revolution MOMI, Manufacturing Operation Management Institute. This will be an overall and a deep dive into proven strategies for selecting a LIMS that powers your digital transformation. Don't miss that. It will be very interesting, and Gerrit is an expert in the assessment and evaluation of LIMS, also a broad experience and many decades in the implementation of digital lab solutions. Once you have selected a vendor, create a cross-functional team. That includes lab personnel, IT experts, and quality managers. Develop a clear project scope with success criteria. Plan data migration, set up through-so testing, and schedule user training. Finally, define the go-live criteria so everyone knows exactly when you are ready to flip the switch. To illustrate how this comes together, let me share a real-life example. A major food manufacturer out of Switzerland was wrestling with manual documentation and slow release cycles. After implementing one LIMS integrated with their ERP system, they significantly reduce errors and accelerate product releases. Over 6 months, they phased in new modules, customized workflows, and ended up saving tens of thousands of Swiss francs in labor and rework costs. This is a testament to a tangible return on investment as a well-chosen LIMS can bring. If you are eager to dive deeper, we offer a lab check benchmark that gives you a real-time comparison against leaders in the German-speaking market. Very helpful if you want an objective view of your lab stacks up. Also, our LIMS Buyer's Guide is a comprehensive resource that answers FAQs, covers evaluation criteria, and includes an implementation checklist. Both are available on our website under www.onelims.com. And now, let's summarize the 10 things to know about LIMS. Number 1, different LIMS types, on-premise, cloud, or hybrid. Each have pros and cons. Core functions includes sample management, workflow automation, compliance, and reporting. Number 3, data security and regulatory compliance are must-haves for any modern lab. Number 4, integration with instruments and enterprise systems is essential for holistic efficiency. Return on investment often comes from time savings, error reduction, and streamlined operation. A smart implementation strategy can make or break your success. LIMS is distinct from other lab software like ELNs or SDMS. Understand those differences. Number 8, industry-specific requirements guide your selection, whether pharma, food, environmental, or clinical. Number 9, future trends as AI, IoT, or blockchain are reshaping the LIMS landscape. And number 10, always assess your own lab's need before selecting any system or solution. I hope those points will help you in your next steps toward digital transformation. I want to thank you for joining me today and for showing such an active interest in optimizing your lab's efficiency and data management. If there are any questions we have not yet addressed, please feel free to get in touch at hello@onelims.com. We are here to help you find the best solution to modernize your lab and keep you ahead of the curve. I look forward to seeing you in one of our next events. This completes the webinar, 10 Things to Know About LIMS, and I appreciate your time and engagement. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope we can speak again soon. Take care and all the best. Bye-bye.